The overwhelming opinion of employers was that the scheme should be closed to further accruals. What happens now?
We sent booklets to all the scheme's employers and to all the contributing members to explain why the trustee and constituent organisations who manage the scheme are proposing to close the scheme. The employee booklet set out what employers need to do now.
Employers need to take action. What should they do now?
Employers must do three things. First, employers need to choose a new pension plan to use from the 1st of July 2019 if the scheme closure goes ahead. Plumbing Pensions does not have a replacement pension plan. If appropriate, employers should follow the Joint Industry Board's National Working Rules. Employers can get help on choosing a new pension plan from their trade association or from the pension regulator's website. Second, employers need to choose a new life insurance arrangement to replace the death in service cover that will no longer be payable if the scheme closes. If an employee scheme member dies, the scheme currently pays their loved ones a lump sum multiple of their earnings. If the scheme closure goes ahead, the lump sum death benefit reduces significantly. And third, employers must consult all their employees affected by the scheme closure. That includes people contributing to the scheme and employees eligible to join the scheme. The trustee and constituent organisations must consider all feedback received from employees during the consultation period before making a final decision on whether to close the scheme. At the end of their consultation, employers must tell the trustee that they have consulted their employees and briefly summarise the feedback received. A form will be made available on our website to make this as easy as possible for employers.
How long do employers have to complete this?
There isn't much time. The deadline for employers to carry out their employee consultations and tell us they've done this is the 7th of April 2019. So it's important to get started on your consultations as soon as possible, as it may take time to choose a new pension plan and employee consultations must last at least 60 days.
How should employers go about finding a new pension plan?
Some employers may already use a different pension plan for their non-plumbing employees. Many employers will need to choose a new pension plan. Plumbing Pensions does not have a plan that employers can use going forwards. There's plenty of help for employers about choosing a pension plan on the pension regulator's website. Alternatively, employers may wish to contact their trade association.
How should employers consult their employees?
Employers must consult with all their employees in the scheme and all employees eligible to join the scheme. This includes employees who haven't joined the scheme before now and employees who have previously been a member but have chosen to opt out of the scheme. Employers must tell their employees about the proposal to close the scheme instead of significantly increasing the pension contribution rates. Employers must give employees information about the new pension plan they intend to use in future to help them understand how their benefits might change. Consultations must last at least 60 days. Employers must listen to employees' views and cannot put pressure on employees to make decisions about a new pension plan during the consultation period. Employers should start their consultation no later than 1st of February 2019. The deadline for employers to tell us that they've run a consultation and to send us feedback is the 7th of April 2019. Employers that don't carry out a proper consultation can be fined by the pensions regulator.
What will happen at the end of the consultation?
The trustee and constituent organisations will review all the feedback received and make a final decision in the spring on whether the scheme closure should go ahead. Once a decision has been made, we will write to all employers and employee members to let them know what is happening.
Can employers continue to use the scheme for new employees?
While the scheme is open, employers can continue to put new employees into the scheme, but they must tell new employees about the closure consultation. If the scheme closes on the 30th of June 2019, no new members will be allowed to join.
What happens if an employer stops using the scheme before it closes?
That would be an employment cessation event which would trigger an employer debt. That could have serious financial implications for the company. Employers should speak to their advisors or trade association to make sure they fully understand the implications of withdrawing from the scheme. Employers should also note that during the consultation period, the trustee can no longer accept period of grace requests from employers who temporarily find that they have no contributing members in the scheme. Employers need to be really careful that they don't inadvertently trigger an employer debt.
Will the scheme closure trigger employer debts for all employers?
No, let me be very clear on this. If all employees stop building up pension benefits at the same time, this would not trigger an employer debt. If the scheme closes to everyone, employer debts will only be triggered in future if an employer tells the trustee it wants to trigger its debt, a solvent employer passes a resolution to voluntarily wind up, an employer suffers an insolvency event, or the scheme winds up, which means that all the scheme's money and responsibility for paying member benefits is transferred to an insurance company. So here are the 4 takeaways. Employers have to choose a new pension plan and possibly a new life insurance arrangement for their employees. Employers have to consult with all their employees affected by the proposed closure of the plumbing pension scheme and collect their feedback. Employers have to tell Plumbing Pensions by the 7th of April 2019 that they've consulted employees and provided a summary of feedback. There's a form on the scheme's website to help employers do this. And in the spring, Plumbing Pensions will write to employers and employees with the outcome of the consultation.
Where can employers go to get further information and help?
Plumbing Pensions can't advise employers, but we can provide information about what happens to member benefits if the scheme closes. For help finding a new pension plan, employers should look at the pension regulator's website, speak to their trade association, or contact their financial advisor.